Hey movie fans, I'm John Anderson, and in concluding my series on Spider-Man films, we already took a look at Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which if you haven't seen my reviews of those films, be sure to click the card above for a link to the playlist. And now with that out of the way, let's take a look at Spider-Man's first MCU solo outing. Spider-Man Homecoming was a film that, if you'd asked me after seeing The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I would have told you I was sick of Spider-Man and over the idea of another Spider-Man reboot. But after seeing Tom Holland's performance in Captain America Civil War, my tune completely changed, and Homecoming shortly became one of my most anticipated films of the year. After assisting Tony Stark in Civil War, Peter Parker is ready to become an Avenger. But as Peter will soon learn, he still has a little growing up to do on the streets of New York. The biggest compliment I could give to Homecoming is that this film truly feels like a Spider-Man film that we haven't seen before, with a Peter Parker who truly feels like a high school student, and whose awkwardness doesn't come off as cartoony or over the top like his predecessors.
So behave accordingly. Let's not have a repeat of our trip to the planetarium. Come on, people, let's stay together, proceed up the steps, and into the building.
You want to, I don't know.
Want what?
Tom Holland is excellent as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man, bringing the right amount of charm and naivety to a new Spider-Man.
Oh, that was awesome.
While at the same time bringing the heart and emotion to his character when needed.
What if somebody had died?
I was just trying to be like you.
I wanted you to be better.
Homecoming also found a way to show us how Peter learns to become Spider-Man without giving us a full-fledged origin story that we've seen so many times before.
Mr. Stark, here's my report for tonight. I stopped a Grand Theft bicycle. Hey, could you do me a favor? Hold on to that. Is this anybody's bike? Oh, I helped this old lady and she bought me a churro, so that was nice.
In a way, this is a Spider-Man origin story, but again, it feels completely different when compared to the other Spider-Man films. Where Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed so drastically in the villains department, Homecoming finds a way to introduce multiple villains, and even some blink and you'll miss them characters in such a subtle fashion that their inclusion feels more organic and less bloated. Michael Keaton is great as the Vulture, who is aided not only by his acting prowess, but by a film that gives him a sufficient backstory to make him a slightly sympathetic character, and making him one of the more interesting villains in the MCU.
So don't mess with me. I will kill you and everybody you love.
There are also a number of supporting characters that are introduced in a similar fashion to the villains, where there's so many nods to general Spider-Man characters, both old and new, that you may need multiple viewings to catch them all. Tony Stark is also a great addition to the film as a mentor to Peter, with an appropriate amount of screen time, not taken away from the Spider-Man-centric storyline, as some critics feared.
Just don't do anything I would do, and definitely don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a little gray area in there, and that's where you operate.
Oh.
The only real negative I have with the film is one that's not exactly the film's fault, but I feel there were a lot of moments that were spoiled in the trailers that don't technically spoil the movie, but I would have rather seen them for the first time in the theater.
You're gonna need the suit back.
But I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it.
But don't worry, there are plenty of more surprises to be had in the theater regardless.
What are you hiding, Peter? I'm just kidding, I don't care. Bye.
So overall, this film is a very different Spider-Man film in the best possible way that succeeds where previous entries in the franchise have failed, and though it's hard for me to say at this point if it's better than Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2, I can say it's the best film we've gotten since, and that's why for me, Spider-Man Homecoming is a really, really good movie. So those are my thoughts on Spider-Man Homecoming. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to click right here to see my latest series review on Inception. Click over here to see my latest car-themed reviews on Baby Driver and Cars 3. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my social media links down in the description below. Until next time, don't forget to watch some movies.